Welcome to CoreyPi Insight. Today we will bring you CoreyPi success stories from industry leaders and innovators. I'm your host, Jessica. Today we have a very special guest, a CEO and co-founder of Lovo AI, Tom Lee. He will share his insightful experience on CoreyPi's innovation, entrepreneurship, and global expansion. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Jessica. So my name is Tom. I'm a founder of Lovo. And what Lovo does is we provide AI voice and video editing platform for people and companies who work in marketing, learning and development, and HR.
Talking about the CoreyPi, how did your relationship begins at the beginning?
Yeah, so I think it goes back quite a few years actually. So when we were at Berkeley Skydeck, we were going through the Startup Accelerator program as well. And then I met Brent, and I didn't know anything about the company or him, but he was like, hey, I got into IC, and I've never been to the States. And I heard you guys are, Korean, and you're in this, Silicon Valley together. Wanted to hear how your journey has been. We talked a little bit, but it wasn't really much of a relationship. And then years passed, and somehow we were looking for IT security. And then I was poking around, talking to different customers and partners in Korea. And they were like, hey, there's this startup called CoreyPi that you should check out. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then it just kind of evolved from there.
Wow, it sounds like a quite on and off relationship.
Yeah. It was more like an acquaintance. It wasn't necessarily any relationship partnership. And then it evolved into what we are now. Yeah.
Did you have any specific products you are interested in at that moment, or?
Yeah, so we, back then I didn't know anything about IT security, to be honest. So I wanted more of a consultation, like something more tailored to our needs.
If so, as a customer, how do you value CoreyPi?
Yeah, so I think where CoreyPi really stands out, the products are all great and whatnot. But if you think of an IT company, they really need security. But if you are a startup, you are kind of strapped with resources. So it's a conundrum that a lot of IT startups face. But we needed something that we had an option and that we can choose from. So CoreyPi gave us the flexibility. It was like, hey, here's where you stand, and here are some recommendations, and here's a list of products that we can offer. Tell me what matters to you the most, and we'll find the right outfit for you. So I think some of the key products that that kind of stood out for us were the DAC and WAC, which allow us to really get easy, simple, but thorough security, accessibility, and visibility to all our apps and database. And the KAC, which allows us to apply one policy to a multi-cloud environment. So those three tools kind of stood out. And obviously, I think, for a lot of IT startups out there, ISO certification is also important. So we're getting CoreyPi's help in getting certified for that next year as well.
Wow, sounds like a quite very customer-oriented,
yeah.
humble, very
commitment. Yeah.
CoreyPi must do a lot of things for you.
No, it's like a tailor shop almost, for security. So
I think that's quite important thing. Yeah, similar to Lovo AI, even the genre is different. You probably have some specific point of view toward, as a startup CEO and striving to the global market. Probably you already get through all those ups and downs, and now the CoreyPi in the starting line to starting the international business from Japan and heading to the global market. From that perspective, how do you see the CoreyPi or the brand, the CEO of CoreyPi himself?
So, from what I know, CoreyPi kind of came out of nowhere and is eating up the Korean market, right? and Korean market is really interesting because in the US, there's a whole spectrum of different companies. You have startups, you have agencies, SMBs, big core, Fortune 500. But in Korea, you have the big dogs and then the rest. And what I learned there was a lot of these big companies have the mentality of, hey, why buy it when I can build it? Or if it ain't broke, why fix it? And if you do get past those, first hurdles, you're met with hey, I've been buddy with these agencies for 20 years. I'm not gonna switch. Coripy, I think what you guys did really well is you create a ripple in this pond. And I think the way you did it was like you really listened and then you executed really well, which sounds really easy, but as you know, like it's really hard. It's really hard because like we try to do that for an extended period and it's really hard because there's a lot of resources and limitations involved. But you listen well, you execute well, and I think it's because you listen to the IT security team, but you also listen to the business side, and then you kind of find the path that makes everybody happy. And I think you're building a lot of good use cases within Korea, and if you can take that to Japan, to APAC, and then to the rest of the world, including the US, getting after all those big customers is not really far off the reach. And I think within a few years, I think Japan, APAC, US, it should be like within Coripy's reach.
Wow. It sounds like mainly we need to get their credibility first to build up the business fundamental, and it takes a longer time. And as you know, that B2B SaaS, the deal time is way longer than the B2C. So it's probably quite demanding job, but it worth it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think B2B sales cycles, I think they tend to go from months to years. But once you do get that partnership down and the deal closes, like you have a really strong partner, someone you can upsell to, or they can introduce to their other partners and other companies. So I think it's worth it, and I think Coripy is doing a really good job of building all these friendly customers who actually like and will speak for Coripy.
Actually, we are hard trained already. So what do you expect that Coripy have impact in global market? What if we made it?
No, so I think nowadays it matters less as to which country is your company from, or who are your team members. I think it matters less, and more importantly, like how good is your product, how good is your team. And I think Coripy's got that. And it's when you want to do business in the global scene, you gotta be in the trenches. You gotta learn the language, the culture, working. And people talk about like, hey, Zoom call works fine, but it doesn't. Like you gotta go there, meet people face to face. And I think for startups like both of Coripy and Lovo, it really matters that the founders are there, the whole team is in it to win it. And I see that with Coripy. I see that with Brent when he was, he just uprooted himself and went to SF for YC. I see that when Coripy team, is hiring locally in Japan, they're learning Japanese, they're meeting customers face to face, and they're even bringing partners over for cross-country collaboration. It's a lot of work. It's not something that anyone who is half-hearted can do. So I see that the Coripy team is putting a lot of effort into like really going global but local into each market. And if they can execute that from Japan to APAC and to the rest of the world, they're gonna have a good time. Yeah.
Your advice is put me out with the idea like that Lovo and Coripy both we have R&D HQ in Korea, and as a global player, do you think it's quite beneficial? And if so, why do you pick the Korea as R&D?
Right. So I think Korea R&D is beneficial in terms of the most obvious reason I think is cost. So hiring and securing talent, especially in the engineering R&D talent, I think is a third of the cost of hiring in the US. And second, despite the cost being rather low, we have a high quality talent, a pool of engineers and marketers and business people that we can hire from Korea. And I think having the fact that we have one foot in Korea, one foot in the US is actually beneficial because we get to meet customers that are both in Korea and the US. We get to see the working culture of both countries, so I think it's actually very beneficial. I think even in business like talks, we talk about, hey, like, is it the product? Is it the pricing? Like what actually wins people over in B2B sales cycles? And I think the majority of the buying experience comes from how has interaction been, how has the communication been, like am I getting along well with the founder, the salesperson? And I think in that sense, like the Coripy business team is doing really well.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. If I as a Coripy curious, I can tell that Brent and even the whole team is quite a humanized, human-based and touching. And I think that kind of our attitude can deliver to our customers maybe it's just my opinion, but probably it makes some difference in the
Yeah, I
market
think, you know, it's
over the technology.
yeah, and you know, and you know, I think it could also be like they're young, they're like super passionate, but you know, there's a sense that hey, like we matter more as like as more than just like a number. So I think that really matters a lot as a customer.
That's really impressive. I love that. I love that. Oh, well, thank you so much, Tom, sharing your insightful experience with us. And it's going to be quite inspiring learn to hear his experiences and advices for CurryPie. For our audiences out there, stay tuned for our more stories and strategies from our customers and partners. Until next time, we'll keep innovating and push boundaries. Thank you.
고생하셨습니다.
고생하셨습니다.